Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. Incredible guests the world over with all sorts of backgrounds. They've all been on their journey, and most of them have decided to turn around and help others. They've done enough self-love, enough growing, expanding, that they've realized that being in service to others is a pretty cool thing. Our guest is no exception. Reverend Dr. Julie Moret is with us. Absolutely love her to death. She's got great energy. She's super chill. And she's super fun. I can't wait to hear an angel experience story that might be coming up in a second. I do just want to mention, though, she's got a bunch of different modalities she's an expert in, from Qi Gong to neuro-emotional therapy to NLP to clinical hypnosis. She's been around the block, just done so much. She's done the Barbara Brennan School of Healing. If people remember that, it was in Florida for a long time. It's been elsewhere, abroad even, but she did it back when it was in New Jersey. She's got a book, What's Your What, that's been out for a while. Again, she's super seasoned, just knows her stuff, super intuitive, and I'm super thankful to have her on the show. Thank you so much, Julie.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so
I like playing. This is fun.
Exactly. We might have been playing a little bit before the show, but I'm going to ask like the most rhetorical, easy question in the world. Do angels exist?
Yeah. Are we
Everyone,
done?
yep.
That's a wrap.
Everyone, start typing those comments now. It helps share and like as well, subscribe. Okay, what is one of those angel experiences you might want to share with us?
So one of the things that I noticed that was a blessing for me is just from the very beginning, growing up, my mom used to describe me as a do-it-yourself kid because I spent a lot of hours in my room by myself. I'd be playing with dolls or whatever, but that kind of what I've learned is that kind of activity where it creates like a light hypnotic state is a really good launch pad for having experiences. And so as a kid, I mean, I astral traveled all the time. That was very natural for me. And so I think that from a very young age, I always knew that there was something else going on in this universe. I always knew that, and I spent a lot of my life trying to get there because I thought that there was better than here. And I've had this big kind of arc because I have had so many experiences. I had an experience once where I was having a sleepover and I turned to my left and I literally saw the spirit of the person next to me. That being looked at me and then went like this, like Superman, and dove and went straight out through a wall. And I saw them as clearly as I'm seeing you right now, Michael. Like it was, there's no question about that. And I was wide awake. And I have since we were speaking about Barbara Brennan. She wrote Hands of Light and Light Emerging. I went to her school for energy healing. And I partly went there to understand like some of the experiences that I'm having and to try and create some kind of order to it because it was random. Like I couldn't plan it, when I would have a being around. And so I did learn some tools with her. But as I was sharing during that time, we would meet up about once every 8 weeks. People would fly in from all around the world, and we would have experiences of seeing angels. Like I had one experience once where it was nighttime and I was asleep, but I was very aware that the tiles on the ceiling were moving like this. And I thought, oh, that's so weird that the tiles are moving. And then when I woke up later, I the ceiling was clear. There was no tiles on it. And what I had seen was just dozens and dozens of angels flapping their wings. And I know that for somebody, if you haven't had experiences, this might sound wacky. Um, but what I have come to find, and maybe for those listening, is I think everybody's had something, like some kind of experience. Like I remember once being very brave and finally talking to my grandpa and telling him a little bit about who I am, because my grandpa was the person I was really closest with, but I didn't really reveal all of myself with him. And so I remember like tiptoeing in, and he told me a story about how when one of his siblings had passed, or his mother had passed, and he was at her funeral, and he felt somebody place their hand on his shoulder, and it was so comforting, and he knew that it was his sister. And then when he turned around, there was nobody around him. And so, I'm saying that because we live in a world where there's so much presence around us. And I know for myself, it took lots of visits to psychics and mediums and other beings that I admire to say, no, what you're experiencing is real. So for anybody listening, I just want to say, like, yeah, there's other realms and we have access to them. And so I think, and this is part of what I appreciated so much with you, Michael, is um, it's about just kind of yesing it or giving gratitude, because yeah, I mean, I could be critical and like assessing and trying to figure it out, and then it kind of goes away. But when I'm open and playful and inviting, I have more experiences.
Hmm.
That was a long answer.
It was a very good answer. It was brilliant. Okay. Another one of those kind of trick questions. And then I wanted to ask about like either astral travel, out of body, something like that. Get you going a little bit that direction, just so we check the box. But
Yeah.
is love the fabric of the universe?
Hmm. Wow, that's such an interesting question. I mean, the obvious answer is yeah, but I want to like think about it for a minute. Um, It's love is such a big word that sometimes I don't really know what that means. So when I think of like the playfulness that we started with and the joy that we started with, I feel like that's the fabric of the universe. I feel like sparkles and glitter and energy and enthusiasm and that I was going to say love, that love energy that everybody has, you know? And it's not that we sometimes I feel like I've run dry on it or I'm depleted on it, but I think that's more when like life and responsibilities and stuff and debris collects on it. So for me, the thrust of my life, and I'm telling this to myself right now because it's something I should listen to what I'm saying, is just making sure there's more playtime.
Mm.
Because when I have playtime, I'm juicier, I'm more filled with energy, I have more of that love energy, I have more creativity, and I have more flow, and then everything unfolds, you know? Um, so I think that sparkly love, joyful, playful, enthusiastic energy is the thread of the world, the thread. Um, and somehow it's the threat of the world too, because it's like, oh man, if we just only knew how good it can be.
Mm.
It's kind of like a dare. Like, do you really want to go all in on this life? Because it's going to come down to um, building up that joy stronger than all the dulling down, hypnotizing, normalizing forces around us.
Mm.
It's almost, I feel like there's this kind of counterbalance that I'm constantly working with. There's so many forces externally. If you're on social media, if you're watching the news, all the things, they're all the things. And it's kind of like this time in human evolution is about doubling down on our joy, on our fierceness to be joyful, because that will redirect where we're headed, you
Mm.
know? There's so much about cultivating consciously that is necessary now. Because I feel like it's very easy to be like sheep in this world because, like on social media, we see what we look for. We see what we look for. So I'm fed agenda-driven biased content based on my preferences. It's hard to be not in infiltrated with external voices. That's why we have to make it our practice. And the practice for me, because I can be very serious as I am right now, is to, do my meditation and do my spiritual practices, but it's also to be playful and joyful and paint and sculpt and dance and walk in nature barefoot and do all the things that help my creativity, because our creativity is bigger, badder, stronger than any external forces. Our creativity is more impactful than anything else going down around us, and it will change the world for the better.
Mm.
We got to nurture it. That's I just lectured myself
You did
because
good.
that's what I need to do right now.
So where you put your focus is where you put your focus, and how you spend your energy is how you spend it. And that's two of the three things I've learned in 13 years of doing this. The third is angels exist. Just trust that it's so and let the universe do its job. I will
Yeah,
mention, though, an angel named Dale said that in 3 hours, if everybody was willing on planet Earth, the question was one of those rare, not who killed Kennedy, but how fast could mankind grow in consciousness, sort of take the leap from here to here and just be a little more love. He said
right.
3 hours. Now, I'm at this for 13 years, and privately, if you ask me off camera what I thought it was, it might not be 3 hours, but it's possible. Call it Disney-esque love, that sparkle, that joy, but 1970s Disney, not modern Disney. Okay, and not judging either. I mean, it's all good. Okay, where do you want to take us next? How about one more angel encounter?
Yeah. Well, this was oh, okay, I have two. Um, so so I had a period of time I was living in a studio in New York City. I had a little loft area. It was like a tree house. Um, the noise outside my window was so loud. It's New York City, and I got to the point where I would imagine when the garbage trucks were coming, that loud noise of the garbage trucks, I imagined that it was elephants. I was going to say neighing. I don't know what sound elephants make, but it was elephants in an African savanna. So that's where I was at in that kind of consciousness, New York City, living in my studio apartment, sleeping in my little loft. And I started having these visitations. At the time, the being reminded me of Glinda the Good Witch. I think it was Isis. I think it was more that Isis energy, but it's like a hybrid Glinda the Good Witch, Isis kind of being. When she first appeared, like down towards my feet area, I just saw this luminescence being. I felt her countenance, and I got afraid, and she disappeared. So I had several months where I learned to talk myself into, like, I would see her there and I would talk to myself and say, I want this, I'm grateful for this. And then she would stay for longer periods. And I felt just supremely nurtured and supported by this presence. She came in at a time when I felt I was very alone. In fact, I think, as I'm thinking of it now, a lot of the angel experiences that I've had in my life were moments when I felt very much by myself. And so it's almost like the presence comes in to say, you're going to be okay. You know, we got you. We got you. You're going to be okay. You're all right. And so how that's flipped for me is because it was so appealing, these experiences, that I really did spend a lot of my life wanting to be there, trying to get there. And then I had a shamanic experience one time. I went to town on like fasting and prayer, and I did this whole like retreat, and I had an experience after several days of the message that I received is, but this is where you get to lick the ice cream cone. It's kind of like every place I tried to go to be in heaven, to be an angel, to be with spirit, to be with source, it always seemed like that was the goal. And then I had this awareness is like, this is where you get to lick the ice cream cone. And the message is so powerfully like, yeah, this world is really effed up in a lot of ways, but we get to see and feel and touch and taste and have our hearts broken wide open and grow and get back up. Like, it's only here we get to do that. You know, we'll be flying around in zoot suits or whatever that is soon enough, but this is like the moment. So that was one experience, and I wanted to share one more, if that's all right.
Please.
Um, so I had this Native American friend. She was a medicine woman, and she was guiding me. And she came to my home one day, and when she walked in, she said she had a headache, and that was kind of strange for her because she's always healthy and vibrant. And I kept hearing, we were talking, we were sitting on my couch talking, and I kept hearing inside of myself, ask if you could put your hands on her head, ask if you can put, and in my mind, I'm like, well, this is what we were talking about, you and I, Michael. Like, I can be so serious and rational and like, but that playful part, that earnest, sincere part was like, you need to put your hands on her. But I didn't want to be foolish. I didn't want to be embarrassed. So it took me a long time. And finally I was like, well, if you want, like, I kind of put my hands on your head. Like, I don't know if it'll do anything, but so I finally very sheepishly said it. And she smiled and said yes, but there was a weird look in her eyes when she did. And I felt like that's what all of this was for. And finally I asked, like, I felt like she was waiting for this. So I went, I put my hands on her head, and I just allowed energy to move through. And I could feel it. And I just felt it draining out any pain, any discomfort, any disruption, you know? And then when I was done, I opened my eyes, and she told me that her headache was gone, and that felt good. And then I started to talk to her, and she said, I think you should go in the bathroom and wash your hands. And I was like, all right, whatever. I went in the bathroom, and my face was not my face. Michael, I don't even know what to tell you. I had Native American features. My nose was thicker, my cheekbones, everything. My eyes had these like dark chocolate almond shaped eyes. And I stared at myself for many seconds. Like it was a long time. It wasn't just a blip. And and then when I walked out, she was like laughing, rolling around because that's what she'd seen,
Hmm.
you know? So I think there's so much juiciness and so much that's available. And every time I go out on a stage to speak, I just call in the troops, like who is best suited to help a message move through this day,
Hmm.
you know, to impact the most number of people in the highest way. There's support all around us. It just needs our invitation and our playful heart.
Okay, so you're an international speaker all over the place, and we're talking for a while, for at least 10 years since you were 15. Okay, I've got three angels here. Can we jump the fence and just do something early? For the one back in the loft, the angel who was showing up, do you want to get the name? And I could put all three angels up. You'll hear it from
Sure,
all three or one of
sure.
them. Hear who it is. You don't have to share it out loud. You can say, got it, or you can be like, no, it was Angela.
I got it immediately. It was Manuela.
So here's something about that day so that you laugh. It's private to you, but then one reminder for us all from Min, who's a soft-spoken professor angel. If you haven't watched the show before, people can put their hand out and feel the vibe. But if you're a crazy intuitive off the charts or just gung-ho, ask for ocean smell in the room around you right now. We'll blow sage later on in the show, and you can smell that through two screens. But get something, and then what does she have as a reminder for us all? And everyone at home, please put your seatbelts on because we've got a really fun guest who does not hold back. But she pounces. You think she's not doing something or whatever, and then bam. So,
Mm.
okay, Julie, what'd you get?
So what I heard is that I'm here to be a teacher. I was being prepared to be a teacher and to teach, and then the message that I got is that we are all here to be teachers, you know? And really the teacher thing is it's not a lot of times like I want to be perfect. I want to have it all completely done and then I'll share. But it's really like if I were enlightened, and fortunately for you, I'm not, because if I were enlightened, I'd be in such a high frequency that it would be hard to understand me. But if I've taken a few further steps down the road in one particular area, I'm close enough where I can extend a hand back. You know what I mean? So that's we are all here to teach something. It's what we've gone through. It's the things that stubbed our toes and scraped our knees and our hearts. And then maybe we came forth with a little more wisdom or knowledge or compassion. And that's what we get to extend to others.
Brilliant. And then three Native American chiefs, Dolne, Redshirt, Geronimo, plus Min for the healing on the couch with the friend touching the head. Hear who that was helping you out?
Hmm. It's the one in the middle. I really resonate with him. He has so much sadness for the beauty that was taken from him, from his people, you know?
Redshirt.
Yeah.
And Dolknife said life is a feast, partake, like you said earlier.
Hmm.
But what's Red Shirt have as a reminder for us all?
Oh, he's the part of me that is has this kind of inexplicable activism, that thing inside of me that's just such a stand for justice and freedom. As a teenager, this is worth sharing. I followed an earnest and sincere desire. As a teenager, I used to sleep with a picture of Dr. King under my pillow, had no idea why. And I now work with the King family. They actually heard me speaking. They were live streaming. And I work with Martin Luther King and Andrea Waters King and Yolanda Renee King now, the family of Dr. King. And that's I feel that resonance with this beautiful being that you've held up, that like it's something more like, yeah, I love being playful and I love glitter. I have a niece that just gave me glitter. Yeah, like,
And what's MLK have for us all?
yeah. Yeah. That's just like you can't take your foot off the pedal, you know? And I feel like that's what both of them are saying. You just can't take the foot off the pedal. Not till every single person has equal opportunity, access, respect. You
Mm.
just got to keep the pedal to the pedal to the metal.
I have my number one absolute phrase or little paragraph, 3 sentences, but it's from angels. So we're going to blame angels. Don't blame Canada. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment. So too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassionate to all. Do it. What's your reaction to that?
Will you read it one more time?
Yes.
You
Okay.
threw me off of that picture of Dr. King. I have such a high resonance. I'm still like hanging out there. So will you just read that
What's
one?
Dr. King say about love?
Hmm. It's almost like you have to fight for it. You have to really be a stand for it, not just for ourselves, not for each other, for Pachamama, Mother Earth, for the planet, for all peoples, all countries. It's just it should be a given, but it's not, and it has to be like fiercely upheld.
Hmm, nice. Okay, sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment, so too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassionate to all. Do it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You know, it's so easy. We all have those experiences where you're in a checkout line and the person at the register is being nasty or the person in front is in a mood and, oh, I love your nails or, oh my gosh, the color of something. And all of a sudden, human being comes out, right? It's just the simplest things, the simple acts of kindness. It's such a good reminder because I often think like I don't want to do anything until I have the big grand gesture, but really it's acknowledgement,
Hmm.
appreciation, a
It's
smile.
so funny you said that because Dr. Marjorie Woolacott, consciousness researcher, retired now. You're going to see a lot more of her. She's got the spirituality side in under the covers, even though she's a scientist doing research. And she interviewed, her show must come out in like September. I'm making it up. People have to look at the list. But she mentioned something about the grocery store, and it was a story of another nurse who later had a near death experience, had to come back. In her little quick life review, it was about the supermarket checkout line. She was
Oh
one
yeah.
person behind a person checking out who was in financial distress. And they had gotten one object too many. They were ready to run it back to the shelf. She's $1 short, but it was more of a metaphor for her whole life. She was mortified in that moment. She didn't have enough cash to pay for even what she tried to purchase. And so the woman who's the nurse about to have a near death experience doesn't think anything of it and gives $1. And in the life review, it was shown how much love that was, how much it rippled, how much it changed that person's life without the nurse knowing anything about the single dollar, and how that woman who was in financial distress ended up doing a food bank network.
Love it.
It's all
Yes,
down the road.
yes.
I'm getting goosebumps on this. But she had no idea that something to her was that big of a deal to someone else. And think of it this way: if we had strangers and we were evaluating which political party they were, they don't like the New York Jets, but they like the Giants, would you pull back your wave or encouraging somebody to go before you at the stop sign or whatever? If you started judging, you'd never say hi to another person ever or wish anybody well. And thank God that's not the way it works.
Mhm.
So, talk to us about this pass it on sort of thing, or whatever you want to call it, gentleness, kindness, compassion. How have you changed over the years, and how do you embrace it even more? Because it never stops, this letting go, embracing more, being more love, being more
Mhm.
open. How do you describe your own journey here and how you keep getting pushed?
Right. So I think that for all of us that have been through heartbreak and hurt and pain and any kind of suffering or dramatic experiences, especially early on, I think the things that I went through, even things that are very common, like my parents' divorce, I think feeling the kind of pain that I felt has opened me up to be extremely compassionate and intuitive and sensitive and empathic with other people and what they're feeling. It's been kind of a learning curve to realize that not everybody gets that, like, because I just assume that if I'm standing in a room and I see and I can feel somebody is hurting, I assume other people get that too. And it's not necessarily the case. We all have our different gifts. So I think part of it is that when we go through something, if we allow ourselves, it lets us become more aware of the human condition and compassion and not assuming things about other people. I'm really mindful when I reach out to somebody. Um, I don't know what's happening in their personal life. I don't know what's happening, behind the facade. So I think that that's one thing that I have learned as a result of my own experiences and how many times I walk out and I've got the big smile on and I have things happening in my life. So I think being compassionate and creating space for people is um, is one of the things that's become like a gift that I'm able to give. I do a lot of neuro-emotional therapeutic technique, which is about learning how to soothe our nervous system, get emotionally regulated. And when those two aspects of us, when our emotions are well soothed, when our survival system is well regulated, that allows me for sure to have more flow. And that's where creativity comes in. And that's where the solutions and possibilities arise. So one of the things that's um, been an important part of this current season of my life is supporting people in knowing how to soothe down the survival brain, regulate the emotional brain so we have access to our clear thinking. So we have access to solutions and creativity because that's where the gold is and that's where the answer is. And if we are here to bring about the next iteration of humanity, it will only happen when we are in that clear thinking executive brain state. So that's a big part of what I currently do. And another thing that popped up for me just when you were speaking a moment ago about the grocery store experience, it reminded me, I think it was like the owner of Ford, and I don't know how long ago, like Ford automobiles, I think it was Ford, it was hiring a high level executive, and he had two candidates, and he took them both out to dinner, and right at the start of the conversation, they were just talking about general things. They hadn't gotten down to any, details. They ordered their drinks, they ordered some food, and then just when the candidates thought they were getting ready to talk about the position, the owner said, "Okay, I'm good. So and so you're hired, and so you are not." And they were like, "We didn't talk about work or the business." And so the one that wasn't hired said, why did you pick that person over me?" And um, he said that there were two parts to this. One was, I think one question that the owner had was, if a meal came, would you, oh no, when the guy's meal came, he immediately put like the steak sauce on or whatever without tasting it first. And he said, I don't want anybody that's not willing to like see what's already going on before they change it. So that was one thing. And then the next thing was about how he had treated the wait staff. And so to me, it was a comment on how we are in daily life matters. It's not just when I'm standing on the stage, it's not just when we're doing a podcast. It's who are you when you are on the road and you're not in a good mood and somebody drives like a jerk? Who am I when I'm in a rush and I'm at the grocery store line and the person seems completely inept and I'm furious? And that's the part that I'm working on right now because I can be really great on stage. I want to bring that to daily life. I want to see how far I can go in bringing that angelic presence to earth and letting it be joyful. I'm so serious, you know? So to be more joyful, to be more present, to not be so on the clock. I'm a mom. I'm like, every schedule is my life, you know? And so that was another long-winded answer. I think the key for me and what I would offer up to anybody listening is to find these glimmers of moments where we can bring in play, we can bring in, Julia Cameron did The Artist Way years ago. It's the deal, that's when the juicy stuff happens. It happens, the ideas, the brilliant ideas come in my book, What's Your What? I have a whole page on like when all the greatest inventors of time, what they were doing when they got their inspiration. And it was, on a boat. It was taking a walk in nature. There you go. Yeah. It's like the greatest, the moments of greatness come when we're available. So what is it for you as you're listening that gives you access? For me, it's when I walk in nature. I just go completely off. I get so much information and guidance. That's a really big one. Um, so I think that, like, I want to loop back, I think there's so many things that are diluting of our energy and distracting. And so it really is just a moment where it requires us to carve out time to play. I practice Qi Gong with uh, um, Robert, I think of his last name. And it's just like, how do you move the Qi ball? Like,
Robert Holden?
I could,
No.
Robert,
Holden? No.
no, it'll come to me.
Okay.
But like all these moments of just imagining that there's energy between my hands, imagining that I'm playing with it. And sometimes it feels silly. And then all of a sudden, whoa, I feel something, like I can feel it in between my hands. And all of that is, it's getting the energy moving, and it's lets us be pliable and accessible.
I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, so showers, super creative spot, dog walking, anything that gets you out of your mindset or set mind. Love's a constant. Open your eyes to see love. Could be a concert. I got a photo of a ton of angels at a concert in Austin. Stubbs Barbecue. They've got great sauce and a great lunch. Don't put your sauce on fast if you're in the middle of a job interview. Okay, but that was like either M83, probably the solo or only alternative band out of France to ever make it into the alternative scene. Maybe Etienne something out of the 80s. Or it was Two Door Cinema Club, the Irish band. But Joy, the pink ball light in the middle, is there.
Yes, I
And the
see.
purple is Claire. And here's Claire, another way to see her. She's resilience, one of my dog's guardian angels.
Nice.
But that's around you all the time. And the only other way I know how to say it is if you're in your backyard with your dog and you haven't started playing ball yet, and your dog likes tennis balls, if you took a couple photos before, you might just have a couple angels hanging out. But it is like snowflakes in the air, like what you just saw. The second you're having a good time and you're on your 10th ball toss, it's thicker and thicker. There's more joy. There's more. You're laughing. The dog's laughing. The dog's like, let's do it. You're like, let's do it. You can't have enough fun. So spontaneity.
It's Robert Peng. He's this Qigong master, and he would have these big groups of people, and we're all walking around like this, like playing with energy. And it just brings that joy and delight. And that is the access. That's the access to creativity and manifestation.
You're making me write the word butterflies down for you very, very much later in the interview. Okay, I got 3 quotes for you. And then let's get your reaction, and we're going to wind you up and keep you going because you're doing phenomenal. You're like Hank Aaron, just home run, home run, home run, leather off the ball, ball out of the stadium. Here we go. These are randomly done. Gary Zukav. I got 18 pages of quotes, but you're getting 5 in a row on the same page, so I'm kind of cheating. You change the way that you shape the light which is flowing through you by changing your consciousness. Gary Zukav. Beautiful quote.
100%.
Buddha, in the sky, no distinction between east and west. Man makes distinction out of mind and then believes it to be true. And then Albert Einstein. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion, to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. But I'm going to do Gary Zukav one more time. You change the way that you shape the light, which is already flowing through you by changing your consciousness. Julie Moret, take us somewhere.
Yeah, I think everybody comes to that awareness at some point in our lives. We realize that our consciousness matters, and, think it the way you want it, say it the way you want it, say what you do desire as opposed to what you do not desire. For myself, this is a lesson that I've needed to learn. I just found a little fairy on my desk. I don't know if you could see that. Ah. Anyway, what I've come to learn is that I'm not like a naturally perky person. I'm not like naturally bubbly and happy.
Wait,
I
what'd you just say? I fell asleep. Sorry. What'd you say? Exactly. Hold on. Let's ask a fairy named Ginger all about that.
No, but see, I have that. It's just life can be heavy. Life can be like a wet blanket on top of that.
You now got an angel named Joy and Ginger. Let's hear what they have to say about lightening up and just being and breathing and allowing and smiling and laughter, heart versus mind.
Yeah, trust. Leaning into trust more, leaning into faith more, leaning into trusting that everything's going to be all right. And for those that have parents, trusting that their kid's life is for them, trusting that your loved one's life is for them. I think that I got way more serious when I had a kid. I think I got that like mama bear energy, and I can see where every scrape and bump and bruise and pitfall can happen. And so there's a process of like getting free again that I'm in, that is about getting back to simple joy, like your terrible dad jokes that you told before the start of this podcast,
I don't
that I
know what you're
don't
talking
recommend you
about.
share now.
I don't know what you're talking about. We've never told a dad joke in this entire series ever. But just in case people haven't heard one, it's
No, we don't need to do it, Michael. No.
Santa's reindeer, Blitzen and Dancer, just those two. Nobody needs to know who they are exactly, but Blitzen and Dancer, why do they drink so much coffee? Why do Blitzen and Dancer drink so much coffee? Because they're Santa's Starbucks. What does Joy say about laughter? I'll cheat. She says laughter is hope and healing to others, but what else does she say about laughter?
It unlocks us. It sets our energy free so it's fluid. That's what we want. I want to have everything that we are is made of energetic frequency, and all my in my headness, all my worry and doubt, all that creates constriction and blocks. When I'm in joy, that opens the floodgate that allows me to become an attractor field for what I do desire as opposed to what I don't desire. I'm available now. Joy creates that availability. So that's why I keep saying, for myself, somebody who does tend to be serious and does tend to be a thinker, it's almost like I have to schedule in silly playtime, unproductive time, because I like doing things that have a goal behind them,
Mm.
right? So
How,
it's
how about we bring in two angels, Charlotte and Michael? Let's have them rewrite that last little bit for you so that I'm just open, having fun. Yeah, I could be a little serious, but I can be fun too. Here's Charlotte. Here's Michael. Michael once said, set your intent, repeat as a mantra, and have Charlotte and them talk to you about, yeah, sure, seriousness. You got tasks to do and stuff to think, but then return back to your heart. What are they reminding you out loud to be or to do or to allow for?
they're reminding me that things will happen. First of all, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but it will happen with more ease, grace, flow, and fun when I'm in joy, you know.
Bravo. Oh my God. Love this. Hey, you're getting a passage early from a bunch of angels who I saw balls of light as I was typing. And if anyone thinks I wrote this, I mean, like, thank you very much. No way, Jose. But I was just a good typist and good seer. Here's some of those balls of light. This is actually Min, the whitish metallic ball of light, and that's Charlotte, the blue ball light, but it's metallic. It's a different kind of light energy form. Again, Min, we saw her earlier. There she is one way. And then Charlotte, we just had her up. there she is. But there's no one way about any of the photographs. They could show up as a human tomorrow, but next Tuesday, they show up as a different human. Welcome to the universe. Why don't you get a little mantra from the two of them and share with us while we're at it? What are you getting?
I am here to sparkle and shine.
Oh, and then set that as your intent and then keep repeating it. Now, I'm going to tell folks, if you're like having a situation, my problem is, my situation is, my drama is, you don't understand. I get it. You get stuck sometimes for decades at a time. Go to a mirror and just say, I love you to yourself. It might take 1,000 times. You'll be bawling like a baby. You might be laughing hysterical like a crazy person because you're actually pretty light, loosened up. And by at least 50 or 70 repeats of that, you're going to believe it. And you might even see a different face in the mirror. Like, at least my eyes have changed, I think, a couple times in the last 15 years. And I've been like, what the heck is happening? I feel like I'm flowing. I don't even recognize my own eyes. Okay, here's a passage for you. We're going to get your feedback. This is going to be a launching pad. Why is being the key to all of this? This is a bunch of angels talking, not me. Being is believing in all. You do not need to be like anyone else. Be you. Smile more, think less. Do not permit others to dictate your well-being. Own your own being in life. Love more and allow more. You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. Again, this is why it's not about words or concepts, which are just often more egoic thinking. Always keep releasing so as to not allow walls to be rebuilt. Ego. What to release exactly is never that important. Those are more mere details. Keep releasing. Ego likes to judge everything and build walls. Ego likes to offer knowing as a form of false security. Step away from this and return to a peaceful life. Follow your path in life one step at a time. Enjoy it. Let go of perfectionist or defined behavior, such as roles. Embrace the awesome life given to you in each one of us. Just be. Listen to everything, for everything around you is always your instruction, what you were just saying. Love is in everything. Open your eyes to find love. There's only one life, not two. Be in the moment. Last bit. Compassion is within all too. There are just many levels of awareness in man. Everyone can grow. Let go to expand your own awareness level. And we'll stop it there. What's your reaction to that?
So my reaction to that is I recently got a workspace for myself where I can go and just create, and it overlooks the water. It's gorgeous. And I have gone there many times, and I sit in my comfy chair and 4 hours pass and I'm not writing, I'm not doing anything, I'm just being. And I feel like there is a kind of unraveling in our nervous system that needs to occur because we are in such a heightened energetic world. There's so much activity, there's so much stimulation that literally to take time on a regular basis to unwind. And it's remarkable to me. Like, I literally go, I sit in my comfy chair, I'm looking, I have a whole list of things that I plan to do, and 4 hours have passed. And I feel like my nervous system is unraveling, unwinding, releasing, relaxing, renewing. And that as I allow that to happen, real joy is coming back, genuine joy, genuine flow, genuine creativity. I get ideas. And then all of a sudden the phone rings and there's synchronicities and there's opportunities. And it's from not doing anything. It's from simply being, and being in a way because everything we are is energy. We are constantly emitting energy. I have this game I used to play when I lived in New York. Um, I'm pretty introverted. I don't like, a lot of tons of interaction with people. Like, I need to rest afterwards. And just as a game, I would go into movie theaters, very crowded movie theaters by myself in New York, and I would do something called porcupine energy. We learned about it in Barbara Brennan school, where I would just sit and I would imagine that I was sitting out porcupine energy. And in a theater that was completely sold out, nobody would sit in a radius around me. I have dozens of times of that happening. Like, I can stop somebody in their tracks from approaching. So the point to all of that is that we are energetic beings, and we're very powerful. And there's a lot that we can create with volition. For me, what I notice is that when I'm super busy and super in my head, it like puts a kink in the flow.
Mhm.
And So when I sit there in my office and I'm looking at the water and 4 hours are passing, I am releasing out. I'm releasing and letting go, and I'm becoming available. I'm becoming just available light. And then that light goes to where it's most needed in the moment. And divine right people, places, circumstances, and events are attracted to my doorstep.
Hmm.
Powerful.
Very powerful. And when you were speaking, I moved back to New York in 1993, and I was there till probably 2009, 2010, something like that. I bought a home in Austin, Texas, moved there next. But so for a long time, I only spent 2 years on the Upper East Side, and then I got offered a sweetheart deal in Weehawken, right on the cliff facing, mid Manhattan. So I'd take the ferry in or those shuttle vans, but the shuttle vans or the buses. No one would ever sit next to me. I didn't do the porcupine energy, but I'd be always the last seat or left with an empty seat. And this is a big deal in the tri-state area if you don't have somebody sitting next to you. It's like Rolls-Royce treatment and not have somebody sit next to you. They'd even start to sit and then they'd get up and change.
Yeah.
It was for like more than a decade. And I'll just put up Charlotte to prove that I'm not making this up. She'll say something. You don't have to share it out loud, but you can hear, yeah. There's a lot of, I mean, I had a lot of energy probably around me, is how I'd put it, but not porcupines. So
Yeah.
I've never said that out loud. I totally forgot that that happened. But I mean, there was a point where I was even like, oh my God, like, like what's going on? No, like people woof, always be the empty seat for years and years and years. It was wild. So,
Yeah. And then I actually had the absolute opposite of that happen as well. It was a period of time in my book, I call it the witch years, where when I would see something that was really compelling, a work of art, a book, a movie, a speaker, anything, I would invariably, in very intimate ways, um, meet the person responsible. I met dozens of A-list celebrities, a president. I was invited to two private black tie dinners at the United Nations, like, and that is again that phrase, we see what we look for, we see what we look for, we see what we look for, we magnetize, we attract who we know ourselves to be, what we desire. And so for me, if I saw something and I was like, ah, that's genius, that looks like so much fun, like The Princess Bride, Mandy Patinkin looked like he was having the time of his life. And I tell a great story in my book, What's Your What, about how I ended up like being invited to sit with him in some it wasn't Chinese. I don't remember what kind of restaurant it was, but it was right downstairs from where I lived. Like I just had all of these experiences of meeting people um when I was like delighted by a performance. He seemed like he was having so much fun when he was doing that. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. And he's a Juilliard trained actor. Like he's a serious actor. So for me, seeing him doing something so fun, um, that was one person. But I had so many of those experiences, and it really is what we focus on expands, and what we choose in our consciousness is magnetizing. So like right now I have a lot of change happening in my life, and for a while I was, every time I focused on the things that I'm afraid of happening, they started happening. And like I'm a teacher of this stuff, like I had to remind myself to go back to my discipline. And it's not whitewashing or pretending or doing like a spiritual bypass. It's deciding to redirect consciousness and trust and know that my life is for me. My life is for me. And as I do that, then more things start to get in alignment that feel right. So for me, this just keeps looping back. Some people might just get it naturally. For me, it's discipline. That's where I was going with what I said earlier. Like, I'm not naturally perky. I have to remind myself to attend to my consciousness. I can be very nostalgic. I can tend towards depression. And so for me, for my thriving, for my success, I have to have regular spiritual practice, because that spiritual practice reminds me of your joy card. It reminds me of that bubble and that glitter and that sparkle that lives inside of me. Yeah, like I do have her. She just gets forgotten about sometimes because I'm so darn busy handling things. And so befriending her more is very important in my life right now.
I'm going to light a little bit of sage, but we're going to get right back to joy. And we're going to take some steps with joy that'll go beyond what we did before the show to tantalize, tease, and have some fun with joy. You're letting her do all the heavy lifting. And so, folks at home, look, I'm lighting some sage in Texas and it's 2024 in the summer, but you're in Germany, New Zealand, Japan, and it's 2030, 2028. You can still smell the sage. I get those comments all the time. What will you allow for is what Julie was just talking about, whether we're talking during the day, in any given moment. All moments can be the same, they can be joyous. Good luck with that. We all know we have bills to pay and things to do and roles and reactions and judging and resisting, rejecting. That's up here. Be here. Give yourself a break. Ask angels to get you out of your head into your heart. Own it with a thank you. Ask the universe to do it. Catch a little bit of sage, but if you want to go cray cray wild, ask for some flowers on there as well. I'll make a little more smoke happen. For those who need help, breathe more through the mouth, shoulders up and down, heave ho, or through the nose if you're a nose breather. And for those who need extra help, watch the sage smoke. Let plant medicine, universal love and light, angels doing their stuff, come to you. And if you've got a sore elbow from gardening or pickleball yesterday, ask for the smoke to go there. And if you want to see it as pink light on your eyelids, let joy come in. And get what you need to get, but maybe lavender, wisteria, hyacinth, hibiscus, catch a Hawaiian breeze in the air. I'll blow through the microphone if you want to get a little sea spritz on your nose. It's all angels. It's not me. Catch a little what you can catch. What will you allow for, though? Make it Wailea. Find Kapalua. And as I knock the ash off of the joy photo, I'll vacuum later. Did you get it, Julie?
Yeah. Got a lot of honeysuckle.
Yay. Awesome. Did you get any ocean as well?
A little when you said the spritz on the nose.
Good. Okay, now here comes the fun part. We're going to treat her like a fireplace. Oh, no. We'll do two angels. I'll do Min and Joy for you because I know that you like Min. My guardian angel, Dr. Karen Wyatt. People can check out August 30th after they've watched your show 3 times over. And check out your offerings and stuff like that. You're absolutely wonderful. Here's Min. If you could put up whichever hand is corresponding to Min, I think that might be your right hand. And Joy, put up your left hand. So you're getting 2 different flows coming into you. Yep, breathe, no triota. And if you'll allow for a little bit of pink light in the room when you hear ready, you'll open your eyes and see glitter, but not yet. Like you're at a Macy's cosmetics counter and they've got the coolest glitter that I guess women put on their face, but there's a lot of it. It gets caught by the fan and now there's glitter blowing all over. You're not going to have to vacuum later. You're not emailing me tomorrow saying, hey, I had to have a professional carpet cleaner come in. But when she says ready, open your eyes and go Disney-esque and see glitter all over the room and the air. It's compassion, it's love, it's joy, it's enthusiasm. Feel it hit your skin a little. And if you can just say, I got it, I'm seeing it, or yep.
Got it. Yes.
Oh, you're crazy. Now, let them give you another topic. Between the two of them, they got to have something to kick out for all of us. You're a walking encyclopedia. And at home, people can just feel the vibe on your palm, your fingers, both. Try too hard, it'll be sparkles on your toes. But if you're already kind of there, you're an incredible athlete on the field, you know what a flow state is. You just know how to read Agatha Christie books for 3 hours at a pop. You're in the story. That's all this is the same letting go you're doing all day long, but your brain, your intellect, your ego attributes no importance to it. It's like, whatever. It's petting your dog, but actually like enjoying it. You're in it. You're touching the fur and you're like, I love you. Okay, what are you getting from Joy and Min to take us sort of the next chapter here?
Yeah, so the invitation here, if you're not driving or operating equipment, is to simply scoop yourself up in a big hug and imagine that you're hugging the little you, the younger version of you. Maybe at a time when you really needed a good hug, to just scoop up the younger version of you and allow that aspect of yourself that is wise, that is joy, that is intelligence, that is loving and kind, to just hold you and infuse within every cell, every organ, every action, every function within your beingness, a cellular awareness that you're okay, that you're good, and that joy is your name in nature, and to feel celebration and excitement already. Good things coming, good things arriving. Life is here for you. Life is here for your thriving and your bliss and your joy and your satisfaction, and all is well.
Okay, I've got Archangel Michael for you. What's a good mantra for everybody if they can remember to remember, when they remember to remember, again, if they remember? This
My
could
life
be,
is for me.
oh, my life is forming.
My life is for me. My life is for me.
Good mantra.
Yeah.
Unique. I've not heard that before. Okay, here's Matt. Don't call her Mackenzie. She's everything plants, animals, nature. Now, one thing to just throw everybody off, this just takes the plunger and boom. Angels have been giving their like galactic background starting like back in March. So Charlotte said she's got an Orion background, even though she's an angel. Um, Min, serious, not trying to be too serious here. Dale said Andromeda, and so on and so forth. And then I had a lot of galactic unconditional love figures come in. Crazy. She said Andromeda and Orion. It's Mac, don't call her Mackenzie, everything plants, animals, and nature, and totally fun. What are you getting from her for either a topic, a reminder, how to have more fun?
Mm. That we're here to be earth keepers. We are here to be keepers of Pachamama, Mother Earth. And it's part of it is stewardship to take good care of Mother Earth, but it's also to get barefoot in the dirt. It's also to grow something. It's also to look at the stars and wonder. It's also to feel the warmth of the sun. It's just also to drink in the shine of the moonlight. You know, to find ways in our city living, for those of us in cities, um, to connect in with Pachamama, Mother Earth, and to be very sacred and intentional with this, with Earth, you know, like grateful for the water, grateful for the air, grateful for the land, grateful for the sea, all the things.
Okay, now, if you could pick anywhere in the globe to do a retreat, some institutes funded you, so you don't have to worry about the details. And you got like amazing staff handling the details. You just have to pick the place, and you're going to get 2 weeks afterwards. Like if it's beach, you can hang out on the beach and you can start writing that book. You can have fun. You can have your own adventure. Here's Red Shirt, and I'll put up Joy. What places come to mind? If you pick 3 spots around the globe, where would you want to host those retreats?
Well, the first thing that came to me, nobody's going to want to come to. I'm doing the trek to base camp on Mount Everest in October, and it's so intense. It's so challenging, and I'm so excited about it. So that would be my first retreat. I want to have a bunch of folks with me, you know, by the ice falls and just right on that spot at base camp. That'd be amazing. Um, the next would be Mount Shasta, which I actually have not been yet, but I feel it calls to me. I feel Pacific Northwest a lot.
Ooh.
Um, I would love to do something in Mount Shasta. I feel like that's a big one. And the other one, this is interesting that I'm even saying this. I just purchased a home that's on a ton of land and has a river, and it feels like a fairy world. I'm having a cabin built like right on the water, and it feels very much like I'm in fairyland when I'm there. So that would be very specific. Because it's my home, I wouldn't have a ton of people there, but I definitely envision having some folks there and playing with fairies and stuff.
Ooh, I'm going to put up 2 fairy photos. First of all, it took me 6 months when Play-Doh came along to allow for Play-Doh to exist. This is like 13 years ago. You can see the old man's face in this photo in just a second. He doesn't mind me saying it that way. And I skipped half my Play-Doh studies back at Middlebury. Whoops. And, you know, we've all had a little history, past lives. So maybe there's some intersection there. You can see the old man's face, though. Can you see it?
I'm not seeing an old man's face now.
Oh, hold on. Eyes, nose, mustache.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but no hugs for him. They're sweaty. Fist pump, tap on the shoulder. Hear about what life stage you're in. Keep it private to yourself, but have some of his wisdom. He's crystal clear. He's so much fun to listen to. And he's got something for you to share before I get to Tinkerbell.
Hmm.
What'd you get? Or what can you share?
Yeah, so what I can share is it's less words, more wisdom. Like I'm in this phase where my desire when I'm on stage is that it's an energetic transmission, and I still need to be saying words because otherwise that would just be kind of weird to stare at people. But it's more about really understanding, not understanding. It's really about being light and shining and
Hmm.
letting that shine feel happy for other people, that it wakes up happiness in them.
I like it. So Tinkerbell exists. People can see her as a 13-year-old. Ginger is a 14-year-old, a little more mature. And I remember an Omega Institute staffer in her testimonial, the very last sentence, and you can find it on wherever the testimonials are on my website, says, and Tinkerbell was my very favorite. So whew, I'm off the hook. Here's a photo of Tink, and she chose 2 words. And I'm going to go zoom in, but what does Tink have? She's rainbow light or glitter. And if people want to go wild, you can see a little bit of glitter in the air, rainbow light left and right of your eyes if you're resisting, all over the room, or you can have mini butterflies start popping up. Just depends on how much letting go you do. What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips.
Oh.
Or iris. Somebody said that the other day. And what are you getting from Tink?
Oh, it's really sweet. It's just like a reminder that she's still there, like she's still there. She wants to play.
And here's Ginger. Ginger wants to chime in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely moving into that season. For me, my access point is the mountains and the woods and, fairy angel worlds. And that's what I'm creating now.
Okay, I'm supposed to do something. I'm totally a blank right now. We are going to wrap up the show soon. So I will do this with your permission, and we'll get Joy to kind of oversee it and MC it. I think I did that. Good. Well, here we go. Joy's going to oversee this. I'm going to put my palm up, but it's only my highest intent side, not my bill paying side. And if you do the same, but only your highest intent, the joy side that you've so like beautifully demonstrated today, but not the serious side. If you want to feel energy from Texas to California, feel what you can feel with your palm. I'll wish you rainbow light with this hand, but it's angels. You'll get 3 times. Yep. And here comes the first one, and it'll be small. Just feel what you can feel on your chakras or wherever. Here it comes, and I'll blow through the microphone. Feel a little transmission. And Julie, what'd you get?
Kind of like little fairies, little butterflies, like lightheartedness. It's like welcoming back some lightheartedness.
Yay. And then medium, here it comes. Again, we're going to blame angels. Don't blame Canada. Here it goes. And how was that different?
Yeah, it was back to the activism. What was that Native American red
Shirt.
shirt?
Yep.
Yeah, it was like almost like I've been coasting a little bit, and that the civil rights, social activism, like it's more a message about that's important.
Okay. The third is go big, go home. You're already home, so let's go big. If you want to pick a fruit name out loud, and people can do this at home, but if you want to do a vegetable, fine. Eggplant, it could be papaya, tomato, squash, strawberries. It's a topic that you care about. The universe knows what it is. Ask for this rainbow light to help you with it somehow. What will you allow for? What's your fruit or vegetable?
Mango.
Perfect. Love it. Mango's good. Okay, here we go. But it's big. I'm going to blow 3 times in this. Let a little Wailea, Kanapali, something Hawaii. Maybe it's somewhere else. Come to you. Here it goes. And what was that all about?
Yeah, that was great. That was just like I keep thinking there are things I need to do to, get where I'm supposed to go. And it was just like the only thing for me is just be walking, by the river, by the cabin. Like it's all just cultivating within me.
Like a mobile office. Instead of 4 hours sitting in the chair, it's mobility out in nature with the chair
Yeah.
following you.
I like that. My mobile office.
Oh, I love it. Okay, what's a final bit of parting wisdom? Look, you are keeping so much wisdom in. You're automatically invited back in 2025, later in the year, whenever you want. You'll just let me know. But what's the parting wisdom you've got for us? How do we keep it simple? How do we keep it real? How do we keep it real simple? How do we keep it love, love, love? I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it.
So for me, again, it is having some kind of structure of practice in place, even if that structure is to spend 20 minutes doing nothing. Like there just has to be time when all the stimulation gets turned way, way down. And whether it's meditation, whether it's walks in nature, um, just to find time, anything that, whether it's working out in a gym or practicing yoga or Qi Gong or drawing, painting, sculpting, dancing. I like to dance, you know, to candlelight in a dark room, like any of those things that that will give us access to to um, to our creative flow. And one of the things that I've started doing is on my Instagram at Rev Julie Moret, I'm putting up videos pretty regularly now on practices to strengthen our energetic frequency. So some of it is the neuroemotional work where we learn to soothe the survival brain, regulate the emotional brain, because then we're available when I'm not in fight, flight, freeze, or appease, when I'm not, you know, tensed up and tightened, I have more access to energy and creativity and flow. So I'm doing some of those, and I'm going to start layering in, especially as I get to the woods and the mountains, I'm going to start layering in like Qigong practice and energy practices. I'll be doing the energy balls like Robert Peng does, you know, all that stuff that may look or sound really ridiculous to those listening. But what it does is it creates a playful state. And from that playful state, that's when we get the genius ideas. That's when like the perfect word or sentence for the book or the next lyric comes, whatever it is. Or that's when we're open like that, that's when the phone calls come out of the blue. So that's for me what's very important in this next season of my life. I'm in a very busy doing season right now. I'm getting ready to climb a big mountain. I'm doing, and I'm setting myself up for a lot of allowing and being.
Mm. I'm
And I
gonna
want to bring in some allowing and being when I'm climbing up Everest also, because I think that's important.
and ask these three for all the climbing assistance in the world, and I don't know what to call it, extra stuff that comes to you. Expansion and consciousness with each footstep up the path.
Mm,
And then just
yeah.
to wrap it up with something fun, because joy was almost the theme of the whole show. Here she is. Ask her if you've got this. And I have to think I had it, what it was. Oh, I got it. Okay. Ask her if you've got this and just hear, heck yeah. And then,
Yeah.
Julie, unfortunately, you're that spiritual guinea pig right now, which not at all, but everyone at home could do this too. Close your eyes and just breathe. Center, just be you. You be you, Scotty P. We're the Millers. Have her show up as a little bit of pink light on the eyelids. Breathe, 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 breathe. Relax. Feel her whatever way you want. But when you hear her ready, you're going to open your eyes and look around and catch at least one little pink butterfly made out of angel light flying around the room. But if you want sparkles, you want a lot of butterflies. It's whatever degree you'll turn the volume up and allow. You're already getting it. Wow. Awesome. Crazy. Can you give us a thumbs up that you just saw?
Yeah, that's super fun.
That's why I wrote down butterflies a long time ago. I told you I wrote down that word and I was supposed to do it and I remembered it, which is a miracle. So,
Yeah.
my final reminder before you do the closing, because you've done so many shows, speaking engagements internationally, blah, 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 you've done it all. My reminder is, oh, miracles in every moment. Allow, allow, allow. Just get out of your brain and watch what happens. Don't be Scrooge at the beginning of the book, dental floss for a connection to life. He's thinking a lot. At the end of the 79 pages, what am I supposed to say? He's just being joy. He's allowing. He's still a good business person, but he's chatting with people, waving hi to strangers. He's got a good, big magnetic field. Julie, back to you. What do you got for us? You're wrapping up the show, Angels, Positivity, and Love.
I'd love to do prayer. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So this is not a religious prayer. It's spiritual, people of any denomination, just taking a moment to know in this right here, right now, that there is one power, there's a presence, there's a source, there's life, there is goodness, and it is everywhere always. There is an omnipresence of goodness that exists throughout all of time, all of history, all of future, all of right now. And I'm knowing that that presence is, since it is everywhere always, it means it's right where I am, it's right where Michael is. It's right where every listener is in this very moment, that the presence of God, Spirit, Atman, Buddha, by whatever name you call it, nature, divine love, source, by whatever name you call it, this presence that is never in absence is infusing every single person hearing the word spoken in this moment. It is sourcing, it is vitalizing, it is rejuvenating every cell, every proton, neutron, electron, all the systems within the body. It is rinsing, cleansing all the neural pathways within the brain system. There is a whole revamping, a whole up leveling, a genuine joy, cracking the heart wide open with laughter and joy and butterflies and glitter and sparkle and fun, and all manner of goodness springs forth because we gather today to be playful, to open our hearts, to allow something new to flow through. What a good time this is. What an important, great, wonderful time of sharing this is. I'm knowing that each person listening is blessed, and I'm excited already for the testimonials that will flow in. Divine grace, divine right action, perfect right next steps, perfect alignment and synchronicities and phone calls and text messages and ways from seemingly no way showing up in every facet of life, whether it's housing or employment or love or health or prosperity. Such goodness flowing through this day. I'm grateful and I let it be, saying, and so it is. Amen.
I love it. Julie Moret, you've been on Angels, Positivity, and Love. You've been completely a treat. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.